Hey guys, this is Tom Peff from Adaptive Insights, and this video is for the PagerDuty guys. Apologies, our call earlier, we had a little trouble with the internet, and then you guys got bounced out of the room. So I wanted to take a few minutes and record a couple of the things that we're doing from a financial statements preparation perspective within Adaptive, both using the application itself, the web version, as well as the Office Connect plugin to pull things down into Excel and Word docs. And I have here with me Henry, who's on our finance team as well. Henry,
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
who actually does this. So I sort of tapped him and said, "Hey, do you mind showing these to the PagerDuty guys?" So I logged into a copy of our adaptive model from sort of 3 months ago. We've messed around with all the data, so don't read into any of the trends here. But you can see I've pulled up three sheets actually, the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. That you can see we've built this directly into our model, and when you guys get set up in Adaptive, you'll set these up as well, likely kind of out of the gates. These can be formatted to look and incorporate whatever accounts you have based on your general ledger structure. Because it's an income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, it will in all likelihood subscribe to sort of the normal conventional ways that people look at those. We can kind of tab through here quickly so you get kind of a feel for that. And again, there are going to be your individual general ledger accounts underneath that you'll map out of your GL cash flow as well. I did want to highlight one thing we've done on the income statement side, and I'll let Henry talk about this for a second. But that's to create a GAAP and non-GAAP sheet.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The idea is that you would during your chart of accounts setup in AI, you would just make sure that all of your accounts are tagged GAAP, non-GAAP. Or excuse me, you would tag it so that it's GAAP only and non-GAAP, and so the sum of the two would be your GAAP financials. And once that's set up, it's a very straightforward exercise in your reports and in your sheets to filter out the non-GAAP or the GAAP only items to get your non-GAAP financial statements.
Thanks, Henry. And so that's kind of in the application, and so you'd have the ability to kind of go in here and look at stuff. And again, all this the sort of green are actuals, and they're pulling in from the general ledger. The other thing I wanted to show was when you export this into Word and PowerPoint and Excel. So what we've set up is basically an Office Connect file, which has kind of the data dump here, which is all of the accounts that we're then going to use to create the financial statements. You can see those are down here. And I showed you guys a little bit of the creation for how you do that. You just basically grab accounts, drag them onto the pane here, and then that establishes the linkages between what's in here and what's back in the model. And if I go to the summary page here, you can see we do this to do kind of the actual variance and versus plan reporting that we're sort of tasked with. And then the other thing I asked Henry to set up in here, and I'll let him kind of show it in a minute, is the sort of advancing the pointer concept. So when we roll over from Q1 to Q2, do you want to show them, Henry, kind of how that would look?
Yeah, absolutely. So instead, well, the base case, you would go over here and you would update each of these columns one by one, change this to Q2, Q3, or change your formulas to pull the latest data. Instead of doing that, what we can do in this report is we can just go into workbook properties, change your report date to the next quarter, July, August, September, just call it the 20th, no, 27th. Hit refresh, and that will automatically roll the number forward into the next quarter.
Great, thanks, Henry. And actually, yeah, if I go over to the tab here, you can see on the data review panes. So if I click into a particular cell and look at, hey, what are the attributes that are driving this thing? You can see the sort of individual time that's being rolled up there. So thanks a bunch, guys. Hope that's helpful, and we're obviously willing to and happy to answer any other questions you might have. But this has been real helpful, certainly for our FP&A team, but also for the accounting guys as well. They have some eye towards not just automating the actual financial statements themselves, but also a lot of the schedules and sort of things that follow up on the MD&A analysis as well. So happy to talk you through that sometime too. Thanks, guys. Bye.